There has been a legend of a ferocious, devil-like cryptid reported around the Pine Barrens of New Jersey for more than 200 years. There have been different versions of the legend, but probably one of the most common is that sometime around 1735, near Leeds Point, New Jersey, a woman who is now referred to as Mother Leeds had 12 children and was due for her 13th. As the story goes, during the birth of her 13th, she allegedly verbally stated, "Let this one be a devil," or something along those lines. The child then allegedly morphed into a hideous devil-like creature with the head of a goat or horse, hooves, bat-like wings, and a forked tail. The devil then allegedly escaped out the chimney and into the forest. Other versions of the story suggest that Mrs. Leeds was actually a witch, being in league with the devil, and Satan himself was the father of the child. But one also has to take into consideration the way that people thought in those days, especially since we are coming from an era where not long before people were executed during the Salem witch trials in the 1690s. So the fear of the occult is already in the atmosphere. Also, it is stated that Mrs. Leeds' husband, Daniel Leeds, was a prominent figure in his community. He was also a Quaker that was known for his publication of almanacs during this time. As the rumor goes, some people weren't really too inspired with some of the things that he was writing in them. His writings and symbols were deemed too pagan, and the almanacs were destroyed, and Mr. Leeds was looked at as evil. He allegedly lashed out against the censorship by producing more almanacs with occult-like material, and it is even said that he included the Leeds family crest on some of them, which is a wyvern, or a bat-winged, dragon-like creature that stands on clawed feet, which shows an eerie similarity with the Jersey Devil. A clergyman was allegedly brought in to exorcise the devil creature, and it is rumored to have worked for many years. The first reported sighting happened sometime between 1812 and 1820. Joseph Bonaparte, Napoleon's older brother, is said to have had a sighting while hunting near his Bordentown estate. Also, Commodore Stephen Decatur, a Navy hero most famous for his daring raid on the harbor of Tripoli, allegedly had a sighting during his time at the Hanover Mill Works. He was also reported to have fired at the creature to no effect. Sometime around 1840 and 1841, strange animal attacks were reported throughout. There was another flurry of sightings around 1859, and a group of kids were allegedly terrified by the creature around 1887. The most notable flurry of sightings occurred in 1909, when hundreds if not thousands of witnesses claimed to have seen the beast or heard strange sounds, or also discovered strange hoof prints in the area. One of those witnesses was a councilman, E.P. Wheaton of Trenton, who claimed to have been awoken by the sound of flapping wings outside his window. He also claimed to have discovered some of these strange hoof prints. Around 1925, a farmer in Greenwood claimed to have shot at a creature attempting to attack his chickens. The sightings weren't limited to just New Jersey, as there were sightings in Pennsylvania and Delaware as well. In 1927, an alleged encounter occurred to a taxi driver in Salem City, as he states something pounded on the roof of his car. In 1960, many residents of Mays Landing claimed to have heard horrifying screams. And in 1972, a woman named Mary Ritzer Christensen claimed to have seen a figure crossing the road behind her car as she drove down Green Tree Road. She claimed that it stood taller than the average man, with thick haunches like a goat and a huge woolly head. In 1978, two boys were ice skating near Chatsworth in the Barrens. They claimed to have smelled a foul odor like dead fish, then allegedly seen two red eyes staring back at them. In 1980, Wharton State Forest Chief Ranger Alan McFarland stated to have personally seen the remains of a pack of pigs that had all been killed in a very bizarre manner on a South Jersey farm. In the late 80s, a group of friends were camping out and riding dirt bikes in the Pine Barrens. It is rumored that all of their bikes suddenly stalled all at once, and they stated to have heard piercing screams all around them. What have all of these people been witnessing for nearly 300 years? Could they all be seeing the same thing? Is this simply just mistaken identity? Personally, I don't think so. In 1990, several soldiers from Fort Dix reported seeing a similar creature while they were out on maneuvers. In 1993, Forest Ranger John Irwin claimed to have seen a strange creature blocking the road ahead of him. He said that it was about 6 feet tall, with horns and matted black fur. This occurred while driving along the Mullica River. Around 2007, a creature with a horse's head and bat-like wings reportedly stepped out in front of 2 hikers in Wharton State Forest. One of the most recent sightings occurred in Galloway Township in October of 2015. David Black claimed to have seen what he describes as a llama in the tree line along Route 9 near Little Egg Harbor. He then states the creature spread its wings and flew away. What have people been seeing for this many years? Do you think that there is any truth to this more than 280-year-old legend, as there are current sightings reported even up to this day? I can go on and on about reports, sightings, news articles, and so forth having to do with this creature. I would like to hear from you. What is your opinion? Do you think that there is any truth to this very old legend? What do you think inspired this story? If you have had a cryptid experience and you would like to tell your story, email me at the email below.